Hey everyone, Trevor at Toploaded Gaming, and I'm going to start this video off with a story. Almost a year ago, maybe even more, I asked Doug, who is co-founder and owner of Limited Run Games, I asked him a question that I find to be important, which is, what is the possibility of getting the Konami Rebirth games a physical release? That is to say, Contra Rebirth, Castlevania Rebirth, and Gradius Rebirth. All games that came out on the WiiWare portion of the Wii's Virtual Console. And at the time, he told me no. He told me that essentially they'd have to recode the entire thing, and it was pretty much impossible. Now, recently, My Life in Gaming had released that M2 documentary on their channel. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll link it in the description. It's a really good watch. But one of the things I found out in that documentary was that M2 was actually the ones that developed those games for Konami. I didn't know that, nor that I knew that at the time I wrote that comment. I'm not even sure if Doug knew that. So today, I pointed this out to Doug, which maybe he knew, maybe he didn't, I'm not sure. But I basically asked him, M2 essentially has the reputation of working with a lot of people to try and get games to, come out. I mean, in the documentary with My Life in Gaming, they have the dude that basically spent his own money to make sure a game came out, because otherwise it was dead in the water, over budget, that was it, the game wasn't coming out, and this guy spent his own money, So my point to Doug was, with M2 being involved in this, maybe there's some hope where there otherwise, wasn't really any to be shown. So I'm not really expecting much back from him. But then he responds and says, I'll definitely take a look, and I'm paraphrasing here, okay? Doug even goes further and says, we're trying to build a working relationship with Konami, which I think is fucking important, and in my mind, that's pretty glorious news. If Limited Run Games is trying to build this relationship with Konami, then so is I Am 8-Bit, so is Play Asia, so is, what's this other company, this other rip-off company, Strictly Limited Games, or whatever the fuck they're called. Now, whether Limited Run Games can actually accomplish this with Konami, I think it's irrelevant, because all these companies trying to compete for their hand is essentially holding Konami's feet to the fire. And basically, it's like this shit or get off the pot situation. There's people that want them to handle their old properties better, and they want more releases from them, new games based on these older properties. Where's the direct sequel to Gradius 5? Where's even a proper physical release for these Rebirth games? These games are dead in the water. Unless you're emulating, or you have a homebrew, or you were lucky enough to buy the games before the Virtual Console was killed off, these games are dead. So I'm hoping someone at some point releases some physical version of these games, because they're great games that people should play, especially if they're fans of these series. So I'm definitely speculating a lot. This is a lot of conjecture on my part, but it is based on some kernels of truth here. Limited Run Games is actively seeking a working relationship with Konami. That is pretty much confirmed at this point. So I guess whatever that means to everybody, I would say, start contacting Konami, start letting Limited Run Games know Like, what do you want to see from them? You know, maybe you don't want to see anything from Konami. Me personally, I do. I want Contra 5. You know, what was it, Way Forward that did Contra 4? I fucking loved Contra 4. Let's get a Contra 5. A Contra 6. Let's get a new Castlevania. I know Ritual of the Night's about to come out, and that's gotta, like, dig at them. Let's see a new Castlevania Metroidvania. Like, start treating these older properties with the respect that they're deserving of. So, what do you think? What games do you want to see Konami, you know, do something about? Whether it's re-releases or remakes, you know, like Gradius 5. They could do a direct sequel to Gradius 5. So it's a Gradius 6, right, with the same team. And then as a bonus feature, they could have redone Gradius 5 as an unlockable. Like, how fucking cool would that be? How cool would that be? Maybe even, you know, whatever sort of new weapon types they add in Gradius 6, there's an unlock for to add those weapon types or whatever in Gradius 5. Like, dude, the possibilities are endless when it comes to Konami, as long as they get off their ass, stop playing their pachinko machines, and fucking start taking care of their IPs better. Well, until next time, this is Trevor at Toploaded fucking Gaming.